Hello fellow old schoolers, this is it, the final chapters. The dust has settled from all these battles, and this tournament of 43 players have been reduced to 8 survivors. And the decks that made it through are the Erhnam on Ice. We saw a recording of that deck in the previous match. The Erhnam Get-On deck, I played against that deck in the round just before the top 8 on recording number 48. And I made a mistake there, as I thought that he had lost 2 games as well, but his second loss was to me, I suppose, so he made it in. That's great. Next up, a Berserk-Atog, aka Smash-Atog setup made it through, and is the same guy from my local playgroup that's been featured on this channel from time to time. And there's an entire video dedicated to spotlight on this archetype. There's a version of the deck that uses a Shivan Dragon that made it through, and it's the same deck that was featured in recording number 45 on this channel, where he met this guy, the Counter-Burn player with the impeccable timing. He made it through as well. There's a Power Monolith deck that has comboed its way all the way to the top 8, and another Counter-Burn deck that made it through. All this with a pinch of black pepper, yours truly, that somehow made it through as well. And the first match we're going to see is a new Counter-Burn deck, the one we haven't seen before, going up against the Berserk-Atog. So, let's go over the decks. Here's the Berserk-Atog. And as said, there's an entire archetype spotlight, an entire video dedicated to analyzing this particular archetype, so I can't really do it justice here. But it has the colors of blue, red and green. It has 4 Atogs and 3 Sushis, and an impressive burn package with 4 lightning bolts, 4 chain lightnings and a couple of sonic blasts. It does additional damage with Black Wises and Ankh of Mithra, and can sacrifice all these artifacts later on when they are not that important anymore, in order to feed the Atog to make it really big, and then cast the Berserk to make it go bananas and trample over everything and ending the game. It also has as main deck City in a Bottle, and this particular version has another City in a Bottle in its sideboard, and it can do this because it's one of the few top decks that aren't relying at all on the Arabian Nights. So it has main deck hate here actually. It's fully powered with Power 9. It also sports a regrowth, and all in all, it's a hyper aggressive deck. It can make a kill incredibly fast if everything works for it, which is not entirely unlike its opponent in this instance, the brutal blue-red Counter-Burn. And this version is the usual suspects. It's blue and red. It has the 4 flying men, 4 Serendipity Freaks and 4 factories. And this particular one has a huge burn package. 4 sonic blasts, 4 lightning bolts, 4 chain lightnings, a couple of fireballs. And it splashes black only for the Demonic Tutor and the Mind Twist. Single shatter mainboard. Behind that glare is a Soul Ring and a single black wise. It has the 3 blue power cards and a blue and a red Mox. No black Mox though. All in all, just a deadly pile of cardboard. So here we go. Round 1. And Allbore Electric Eels on the right here, with the Berserk-Atog setup, and the blue-red Counter-Burn from Masters of Presence playgroup is on the left. And he starts out just by chain lightninging his opponent, and he does this in order to get it off before his opponent gets down 2 red mana, so he can bounce it back. And the Berserk-Atog actually starts out with an Ancestral here. Not too shabby at all. Oh yeah, thanks for that. Oh, that's much better. Okay, we can see their life down here. Okay, so putting down a Mox Ruby and a Factory. These two guys have so much burn, so much aggro. The blue-red has a lot of aggro, and the Berserk-Atog has a bunch of damage through artifacts as well. So I have no idea who's playing for time and who's playing for kill here. I think they're both trying to destroy each other as fast as possible. Here's a sushi coming out, and that City of Brass does a single point of damage. Oh, and there's an Ancestral Recall from the blue-red Counter-Burn deck here, just at the end step of the Berserk-Atog, I think. Yeah, and then he lightning bolts. That's already 7 points of damage on the Berserk-Atog here. And both Ancestral Recalls have been set off here. Playing a Chaos Orb. Oh, and Chaos Orbing. Oh my god. Okay, he Chaos Orbs it, and he misses. This is huge for the Berserk-Atog. He's so lucky here. And as said in a previous recording, this can happen. I mean, especially in a tight situation like this. Even though we're grown men, this game can bring out the nerves in anyone. As a Blackwise, this could actually break the game. I really feel sorry for the Counter-Burn deck player here. There was a factory and a sushi coming over for 6 points of damage. There's another factory though. Wow, he counterattacks. That's incredible. And then, then he time moves. I thought that was like way too aggressive. He needs to keep back to block the sushi, but he had a time walk in hand. Oh, he could threaten to block the sushi and threaten to counter. Okay, but he fireballs the sushi instead. That's valid. So now there are two factories against one factory here, so the tide is turning in the favor of the Counter-Burn deck on the left here. Let's see if the Berserk-Atog can make something happen here. They had so much burn, it's almost suicide to attack with those factories when they are untapped, I think. Unless, of course, if they don't have that many cards in hand. There's another sushi coming out. Ooh, but the Berserk-Atog is down to 10 life at this point. That City of Brass is, well, it's a double-edged sword at this point when you're against such an aggressive burn player. Samok Sapphire. Could be, no, what is that, Brain Geyser maybe? No, it's a Mind Twist. Oh, taking the entire hand of the Berserk-Atog. And he goes through it here. There's a couple of attacks, Chaos Orb, Ankh of Mishra. Well, now I'm starting to think this is game the other way. The other way around. The sushi and the factory comes over for a swing. The Berserk-Atog really needs to close the game fast here. He's really behind in card advantage at this point, so he's just suicide attacking at this point. But now that both factories are untapped. Tapping 4 mana here. Then Brain Geysering for 2. That's a bit weird. Why not more? Could at least do it for 1 more, and he has a land drop as well. Okay, it could be because he had that factory in hand. But as the factory has just come down, he can't activate it and then tap it to pump itself on another factory in this turn because it has Summoning Sickness. Okay, tapping a black mana. Okay, and attacking with one of the factories. It's incredible that they're just like all out attacking both ways here. So remember, the untapped factory, it cannot tap itself to make itself 3/3 at this point because it has that Summoning Sickness. The sushi comes over for another swing. And the Counter-Burn player just sacrifices one of his factories here. He has 3 of them, and this is the closing minutes of this match. So, well, we never know, but he can have so much burn in hand that he can end the game quickly. Just getting a bit of refreshment here. I see. Okay. So as it's an attack the other way. Both factories attacking. It blocks 1 and gives itself +1/+1. And takes too much, takes some damage and gets chain lightninged and another chain lightning. And he bounces it back, but it's not enough. So the final suicide attack and a burned out. So that's 1-0 for the Counter-Burn deck. Berserk-Atog is on the play and he starts out with a Library of Alexandria here. That's a very good start. If he can make it work. And now he can draw with it. So he didn't even mulligan, so he's within range very early here. Okay, and the factory comes over for a swing and he gets lightning bolted out. This sets the Counter-Burn deck back a bunch here, because he's a land drop behind. It gives even more time for the Berserk-Atog to accumulate card advantage here. Puts on a factory, but does nothing. Oh, there's a strip mine. The party is over. No more library. Fair enough. And now he can just empty his hand. There's a bunch of Moxen, Blackwise. And then he attacks with the factory and it gets bolted out immediately. So he passes the turn. That's the second blue mana source. I'm not even sure how many cards the Berserk-Atog got from that library. I presume about 2 cards. So he's had a 1 card advantage. 1 card advantage at this point because he was on the play. 1.5 card advantage. Okay, so at the end step of the Berserk-Atog player, the Counter-Burn deck just shatters that Blackwise. Both players are uncharacteristically passive here. There's a chain lightning though, and he plays this again just straight out because he can't know when the Counter-Burn deck gets another mountain down. And once he does, it's a real headache to get that chain lightning in and not get it bounced back in your face. So he might as well pull the trigger now. Showing his hand here, Wheel of Fortune, a bunch of counter spells, Sonic Blast and a Red Blast. And another Wheel of Fortune, Red Blast, Sonic Blast and a Shatter. Very similar and both have a draw 7. So who's going to pull the trigger first? And empty his hand first. That's the question here. But they don't know that they both have a Wheel of Fortune in hand. They don't know there's actually a race here to empty their hand before the other guy does. So, pretty interesting situation actually. Okay, regrowth the Library of Alexandria. He'll likely wheel now. No? Okay, he's waiting for the other guy to he's waiting to lightning bolt at the other guy's end step and then wheel, I think. But there's a Sonic Blast at his end step. The blue-red Counter-Burn deck is trying to emptying his hand now in order to draw into to play that Wheel of Fortune. But I think we'll see one soon from the Berserk-Atog. I think that's one. Yeah, here we go. Now there's a bit of a pickle. Yeah, he chooses to counterspell it. There's a Red Blast though. And he can't Red Blast that. So it goes through. And now the Berserk-Atog deck is within Library of Alexandria range. And there's an Anchor of Mishra, Red Blast, Lightning Bolt, City in a Bottle, 2 Sonic Blast and a Time Twister and another Lightning Bolt. A lot of burn, another draw 7. And the other guy has a Shatter, 2 counter spells, a Serendipity Freed, I think a Lightning Bolt, and another, no. There could be 2 Serendipity Freeds there. Yeah, 2 Serendipity Freeds, Chain Lightning, 2 counter spells, and 2 Shatters. Okay. So we'll start to see the Efreets coming down now, I suppose. A lot of burn on both sides though. This game could be over soon with all that burn. There's the Atog coming out. Not much artifacts to eat though. There's a couple of Moxton though. So you can eat those. Choosing to Chain Lightning the Atog now that the mountains are tapped off his opponent, and putting out a Serendipity Freed. So it costs the Atog deck the Mox Jet here, and that's the box with a color that he doesn't use. So it makes sense that he keeps the green Mox. Okay, Red Blasting the Serendipity Freed, and then drawing another card with that Library of Alexandria. The blue-red Counter-Burn deck really needs to do something with that library. I'm not sure he has anything because he's already used that Strip Mine. There's an Anchor of Mishra coming over with the Atog and then eating the Emerald and the Anchor of Mishra. That's 5 points of damage from that Atog right there. Nasty stuff. Okay, another Serendip probably, yeah. But that library, you can just keep on riding it. Chaos Orb? No. Considering something big here. If I was him, I wouldn't go down below library range. She's pretty secured in this situation here. Okay, so he Lightning Bolts the dice of his opponent. Draws another card. Yeah, he can just draw in and just start burning the other guy out. That Serendipity Freed will punish his opponent as well. And if he attacks with the Serendipity Freed, he can get in with the Atog as well. That's the Chaos Orb. Keeping the Tropical Island untapped. I'm not sure why. Perhaps he plays with Blue Blast? He probably does. Oh, it's not a lot of life left from the blue-red Counter-Burn deck here, but at least he got his untapped phase, so now he can counter and defend himself against all the burn from his opponent. No, he taps out. Puts down another Serendipity Freed. I think that's suicide. We'll see. He'll take 2 points of damage in the upkeep now. That's cheeky. Yes. Taking the Volcanic Island. Okay, he bolts him right before he does so. Oh, that's very secure drop. And then Sonic Blasts. That's game. Just flinging the Sonic Blast along. So yeah, Berserk-Atog wins. It's 1-1 at this point. Very exciting. The third and final match of this top 8 quarterfinal game. Blue-red Counter-Burn is on the play here, putting down a Volcanic Island as his first drop. And we have their hands here, trying to compete about who can show his hand. City in a Bottle, Black Wires, Tropical Island, Factory, a Bolt, a blue card, a Strip Mine, and a City of Brass. I think they're getting drunk. Couldn't quite make out the other guy. Yeah, sorry about that. It's getting late in the evening in this tournament. Okay, so he strip mines the Volcanic Island and gets a bolt for his trouble. Straight to the nose. Okay, but now the Blue at Counter-Burn puts down a city of brass and a sapphire, so he can actually counter now. There's a black wise on him though. Doesn't have that many cards in hand, so that's fine. Taking the first point of damage and then putting down a Serendipity Freed. Okay, that's big. That's nasty. City in the Bottle cracking both the City of Brass and the Serendipity Freed. We know that the Berserk-Atog has a City of Brass on his own hand, so he can't play that now because it's from Arabian Nights, but excellent play keeping that City in the Bottle back and just getting through that way. Okay, so he time twists us now. It makes sense. Even though the Blue at Counter-Burn deck will take some damage from that black wise now, the Blue at Counter-Burn deck didn't have any red mana sources at this point. That means he can't shatter that City in a Bottle. It'll set him back so long. The factory can get in and he can't really punish it. So even though he'll take damage from the black wise, I think it's a worthy sacrifice here. Didn't draw into any Moxen though, as far as I can see. And there's the hand. Fireball, Lightning Bolt, 3 Volcanic Islands, a factory and a City of Brass, so no shatter for him. And it's slightly mana flooded with all those lands and no permanents, but I suppose you can make a big fireball out of it at some point. The other guy, Time Walk, Chain Lightning, Lightning Bolt, Chaos Orb, Blue Blast, and a Black Wise and a single Volcanic Island. So that's mana starved, but it's much better in this situation. Because he can make a lot of stuff happen. And he drew into a factory there, and there comes the Black Wise. And Time Walks. I can put down the Volcanic Island, yeah, and the Mox. Perfect draws. There's the attack. And then coming over for a punch with that single factory. So yeah, the blue-red counterburn's gotta work fast, but he only has a fireball and a lightning bolt in hand. Oh, he drew a shatter there. And he has... yeah, okay. I'm not even sure what the target should be. He takes a bunch of damage from those black wises actually. Yeah, sorry about that. It's because it's a top 8, there's a lot of idle players walking around and standing around the table at this point where we're playing. Okay, so he lightning bolts the attack and he just eats the Mox. And he passes the turn. He did draw a shadow there. I'm not sure what... oh, that's a third factory. I think he should have waited with that lightning bolt for some of those factories actually. Here's the attack at the factory. That's a lot of potential damage there. He lets it in. Can it kill him? 2, 4, 6, 7 more damage she can give him. No, he can't kill him yet. There's a blue blast in hand. Yeah, he pumps one of the factories with his other factory, and then chain lightnings him down to 4 life. He could actually have eaten some of those artifacts with the attack, and that would be game right there. Oh, he did. No, what? He has a turn left. He shatters a black wise, and that's a blue blast. And then it's his turn. He was about to fold there, I think. He did that in his upkeep in order to survive. He thought he was going to die to the black wises, but he had that shatter that made him survive. Someone is helping him here. Okay, he fireballs the attack. He just eats a black wise, and that's fine. Yeah. Game over, man. Bam. Good game. Very good game. So exciting, this matchup. A lot of burn and a lot of aggression. So the Berserk-Atog beat a Counter-Burn deck here and is on his way to the semi-finals at this point. Let's look at the sideboard options here. Yeah, both players are just putting in red and blue blasts, of course. They have some similarities between each other. Look at that. Yeah. So anyway, next up, it's my turn to try my luck in this quarter final. And I'm up against Erhnam on ice, the one we saw trample the Tropical Twister deck here. Coming up. And here's the Erhnam on ice setup. I've briefly gone over this entire deck in the recording before this one. And I will save everyone's time and not do it here. But if you want a more in-depth look at this setup, there's the match just before this one. And here's my deck, and I've gone through this deck a bunch of times as well, so this is just as a quick brush up, and we're off. And we're actually playing at the same time where the other guys were playing, and they were sitting right beside us. And the first round I won, so it's 1-0 for the Composition A deck here. And he has 2 Savannahs, a City of Brass, a Mistress Factory, a Sol Ring, and a Savannah Lion, a Hurricane, and I think he has a Swords to Plowshares as well. And that Hurricane will be rather cool against any Hypnotic Spectres. Ooh, Ancestral Recall, Scrubland, Sinkhole, Swords to Plowshares, City of Brass, and a Disenchant and a Black Lotus on the starting hand. You can't fault that luck. So he's starting out with a Savannah and a Savannah Lion. My turn. Now we'll have a bit of power play. Okay, tapping the City of Brass in order to get down the Ancestral Recall. It would be great if we could see what I drew here. Likely several options and lines of play to go through here. Okay, cracking the Lotus. I'm putting out an Unreal Dreams. Okay, I'm probably doing this because I'm not sure what I'm up against. I think it's Nyasu at this point. Now he has a Sol Ring and a Factory. He's not to be outdone here with that opening hand. Took a point of damage from that Underworld Dreams though, and I took a swing from the line. That's a defending Factory. There's a lot of options when you have a full hand like this, but it'll defend against some of these critters if he ever comes over now. And he attacks with both, and this telegraphs that he probably has a removal spell in hand for that Factory. So we disenchant the Factory, take 2 points of damage from the Lion and 1 point of damage from the City of Brass. He puts out a Llanowelf here. So he has a lot of mana, but it's all white and green. There's a Badlands. I electing to bolt the Lion at this point. I wanted to do this because in his turn, in my own turn, because I don't know if he has any giant growth. And a case could be made to actually kill the Llanowelf instead here, because it reduces his mana production early in the game, but it's fine, I think. So I crack his City of Brass. I'm pretty sure he probably plays with blue and probably red as well at this point. He comes over again, and this time I'm blocking and he removes the Factory, as I had a suspicion he'd do. So I'm probably doing this in order to get rid of some of his removal spells at this point. Yeah, there's a Jusamjin. But he's prepared for that, so he just sorts it immediately. drew into a Mace of Ith though, so he could have waited with that actually. Doing a point of damage with the elf. Oh, and we saw the closure of that. That's killing like a pigeon with a cannon. Okay, that's why I with Time Twister here. So that does 7 damage to him, and we draw a new hand. So I just wanted to empty my own hand. The Dreams combo of the deck. Oh, hey, I think I put the Time Twister back into the deck here. Gotta keep an eye out for that. I can't use it if I draw it. It's a mistake. So we have a new hand, putting down an Underground Sea. I haven't made a land drop yet. There was a Mox Sapphire put down. Ooh, Time Walking here. It's always nice after a draw 7. Disenchanting the Sol Ring. He has a full hand as well, so might as well try to hold him back a bit. There's a Singia Vampire and a Strip Mine, so we can actually strip mine the Mace of Ith pretty soon. Puts down a Factory and an Egolian Pixies. And we have a Defending Factory of our own, stripping the Mace of Ith. Coming over and saying hello with the vampire. Nom nom nom. So he's at 4 points of life, 3 points of life now. You gotta do something here. There's a plateau, so now he has access to red mana. And there's a Chaos Orb. He activates it. Yeah, you gotta get rid of that. Oh, I disenchanted as a response. That was pretty mean. I gotta tap this Singia Vampire. He untapped it when he tried to orbit. Brutal stuff. I mean, what are his sounds now? Passing the turn. He might have a Swords to Plowshare, so coming over. No, he bolts me. That was an extra Time Twister I drew by mistake. Pretty sloppy of me to put it back into the deck. But never mind that. The vampire took it. So I've actually, the composition deck has actually gone to the semifinals at this point, and we're just showing our sideboard options here. And outside this recording, outside the camera, I think the deck beat the Power Monolith deck at this point, and the other blue-red Counter-Burn deck, the one that beat the deck earlier, has won its match as well, and I think that was against the Erhnam deck. So the semifinals at this point will be between Berserk-Atog, the deck, blue-red Counter-Burn, and myself. So yeah, I'll see you at the semifinals. And this last representative of the Army of Darkness will try its best. Thank you for watching.